Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Rachel Archelaus, founder of the Intuitive Art Academy, and I want to do a little story time today about doing life path readings with intuitive art. I have had such an interesting response to my life path readings. And first, let me tell you what it is. So here is some footage of me creating one for a friend of mine named Daniel Scranton. He's a channeler. I decided to do a painting for him when he moved. This is what it came out to be. So I channel these paintings and drawings using my intuitive art process where I just have an intention and I let my hand do all the work. Pick the colors, make the shapes, do all the stuff. Then when I'm done, I decode it using my own color meanings, shape, symbol, texture meanings, and my intuitive abilities. That's what this painting looks like. He loved it. It made a lot of sense to him. He was very happy, so that was a-okay. So that is like what I would have loved to happen every single time, right? Like happy, he wasn't even paying me, happy friend receiving something. So now what happens when things aren't so straightforward? When I was a teenager in high school, I was going through a really difficult time. My parents were getting a divorce. I was living in a haunted house, and being so open, so psychic since I was a little kid, that was a really difficult thing. And I found solace in art, and especially in my own intuitive art process. And, I also never, ever liked history, or when it was called geography in grade school. I hated that too. I just never had a great teacher. I never liked dates or timelines or even what we focused on. It always felt like we were focusing on like the bad things, but what about the good things? Anyway, you get the idea. I didn't like history. And so when I finally had this amazing teacher in high school who was teaching history, who was creating Jeopardy games and like getting us involved and excited about learning things, it really made an impression on me. And so I remember him. Hey, Mr. Blake. I don't know if he's watching this. I doubt it, but just in case, you're the man. I wanted to make him a painting. And so I used to paint on glass. I would buy, 50-cent picture frames at Goodwill. I would take the stuff off and I would just have the piece of glass and I would paint on that. And it ended up looking really cool. So I did this painting. I will sketch it out as far as I can remember it and put it on the screen. It was kind of like a horseshoe shape. I remember there was a yellow blob, and it would not make sense to anyone else. It just looked like a bunch of random shapes. It wasn't even technically good. You know what I mean? It didn't look like anything. It didn't look like an artist did it. I went up in front of the class at the end. Everyone was packing up their stuff. I had this piece of glass in my hand. I gave it to him. I don't remember if it was wrapped or not. It might have been. Probably, knowing me, I probably wrapped it with some tissue paper or cloth and some cool ribbons. But I do remember decoding it for him. And a couple kids were crowding around the desk. And I was telling him about his college life mostly and how he met this really influential woman who helped him out a lot. And he got so white and so taken aback, and I said, I don't need to talk more about that if it's private. And he's like, yeah, no, don't say anything more about that. And what popped into my head at the moment was oh my God, did you have an affair with a teacher or something? But obviously that is not for me to know. I didn't even ask his permission to make this painting, which is not something I would do anymore. I believe I did ask Daniel if I could do that for him. This was such a private thing. So here I am, this student, great student, but coming up out of the middle of nowhere and divulging all of this personal information to him in front of other students. And it's not my finest moment, I can tell you that. But he really resonated with it. He was like, oh my God, what's going on here? And luckily he wasn't awkward going forward, which was nice, but he did ask me something that I still hate to this day. He's like, oh my God, are you a fortune teller? I don't like that term. I don't know who does. I know some people still use it. It's not the most respectful thing, but I was not doing the most respectful thing to him, so no hard feelings there anymore. But anyway, after that, kids started calling me a witch, and that was pretty much the worst of it. Later on, I got called a troll, but that was for a different reason. So, you know, high school, questionable actions, using my psychic gifts in questionable ways. Check, check, and check. But hey, it's a great story. I have another one actually. So many years later, probably about 7 years later, I was working, finally found a job that I really liked. Loved the people, loved what I was doing. I got to know this one woman really well, and you know, she knew I was psychic and all that stuff. I went to her house and you know, read the energy for her and talked to some of her loved ones. And then I decided to make a painting for her. She might have paid me, I don't even remember. But this one she knew she was getting. It was big too, not like the little one. It was, I don't know, a couple feet by a couple feet. And I did it and it was big and it was awesome and I loved it. And as I recall, that one was kind of a horseshoe shape too. But I found out one of her secrets, which I didn't know was a secret. So I actually found out that she had a miscarriage that she never told anyone about. She didn't even tell her husband about it. Because she was so freaked out about having another kid at that time. And that's like really, again, really personal information. Maybe that is why I haven't done life path paintings in a long time, because it just seemed to be almost too personal. That's a really vulnerable thing to have on display because, you know, again, these were paintings. Usually you hang them up and other people can see them. So she was definitely blown away when I decoded it for her and I told her about, you know, here's these pregnancies on this list and, you know, me knowing how many children that she has. And it was very emotional for her. It was very, it was like, again, like, oh my God, like keep that quiet, you know? It was a lot. It was very, very deep and it was very moving. And I was very aware that I was witnessing deep emotional connection and reactions with both of these people. And, you know, I don't take that lightly. That's actually why I think I steered away from being a medium, a professional medium for many years and spoke to many, many people's loved ones. And it's not that I didn't like it. It's just that it was so heavy, you know, and our loved ones are all right. They're always all right. And I think it just got to a point where it was like, okay, I'd rather help people in different ways using my gifts. So that's what I do now. But anyway, there was just a couple stories of me using my gifts and my love of painting to help some people see their life path before them on a canvas or on glass and how it didn't always go as planned. That's it. Lots and lots of love. Bye for now.